so much. Thank you. Oh, look, you had a cute slide about the triple bottom line bash. Look at how cute. That's so nice. Thank you. I think my slides will come up here in just a second. It is such a privilege to be in a room full of triple bottom line lovers. I do feel amongst my friends here, so thank you. You know, I have to tell you, there are times, and maybe even my board of directors said, oh, did you come up with that triple bottom line thing? I'm like, no, I didn't. I don't take credit for it, I promise. I promise. I give due credit. It's been around for a long time, but we all know it. The people are at the heart of a triple bottom line, serving people, planet, and prosperity. And when I say people, I am talking about all of you. Our customers, our communities where we serve. But I'm also talking about my coworkers, who for a hot minute you'll recognize in our Love Michigan shirts until you all put yours on, and then we're all one great big team, which is very exciting to me. So please don't leave here without your t-shirt and signing up for the movement, which you'll hear more about. But people are at the heart of our business and who we serve. And, you know, a lot of people think a utility is an engineering company maybe, or an energy company, but I think we're a people company. We're in the people service, the business of serving people. And we happen to do it through electricity and natural gas. And I'm excited about the future that lies ahead because our commitment to the planet runs extraordinarily deep. I'll tell you, when I became CEO, in 2016. I had a relatively new management team. There was a little bit of turnover at the time, and so we thought, well, let's take a minute, review our purpose. We'll take a couple hours, dust that thing off, and start working on strategy. Well, any of you who have ever worked on a purpose know that it took a few more minutes than a couple. And so we spent a couple weeks and actually went deep. And I'm so proud of the team that I'm privileged to lead. And we wanted to stand for more than just compliance. We didn't want to just do what was required. We wanted to leave it better than we found it. We want this to be our legacy. And we believed and sort of sheepishly at one point confessed to one another that we believed that climate change was happening. We're an energy company. We have something to do about that, and we can't wait. And so we doubled down on our commitment to the planet. I'm proud that we have begun our energy transition. We've retired 7 of our 12 coal plants. We're well ahead of much of the nation in that transition. We've made public our plan. That's what I'm here today to do, to really share with you the genesis and the meat on our clean energy plan about our remaining commitments. We have 5 remaining units, and we're going to retire those. And we'll talk about the dates of those and what that means. But I'm proud of the actions we've taken so far. We've reduced our carbon emissions by 38%. We've dramatically reduced our water use. We've dramatically reduced our waste to landfill. And there's obviously more to do. We're still dissatisfied, and we're going to do it. And so I'm excited about what that future means. But I'm going to share with you more details today about how we think about it and the role that each of you are going to play in making that future come true. We believe that a clean energy future leads to Michigan's prosperity. We believe that Michiganders deserve the natural resources that we love to be treasured. But we also believe that it's good business, as you all do too. That's what the spirit of a triple bottom line, people, planet, and prosperity, those 3 things go together. And I'm just going to tell you a little story, a little window. I'll open the curtain a little bit. I remember when we were starting our integrated resource planning. And we started it like all good utilities do. We got the computers out and put the engineers to work. And they'd spent a couple months doing some modeling, and there was a pretty good idea what the answer was going to be. And it wasn't the answer that we ended up with, if you know what I mean. So what I'm saying is there was a time when that team was solving for the traditional bottom line formula of reliable energy and earnings for a utility. That's what the plan was originally designed around. And we brought everyone together and we said, okay, time out. When we said triple bottom line, it wasn't a slogan. It's how we're going to run this company. And we had a really aggressive session. I shouldn't call it aggressive. That sounds intimidating. But we put ourselves in a conference room and said, let's stick here until we figure out what this triple bottom line really needs to mean in the context of our future energy supply. What does it really look like? Fast forward some months later, and I got a call on a Saturday morning, a text from my vice president of electric, all electric things, integrated grid. He texted me and he said, "Do you have a minute?" I said, "Of course I do." We got on the phone and we talked for about an hour and a half. And he said to me, "Pattie, what if we're wrong with our clean energy future?" And I said, "Tim, we are. There are going to be assumptions that change in the next 20 years, but we're going to keep this stand. We're going to take this stand for a triple bottom line. And we're going to pursue that future with abandon. Unapologetically stand for making sure that the energy produced and delivered and consumed in Michigan is the cleanest and leanest possible. And as we learn more, we'll adapt and modify the plan. That's what's so great about this plan. I want to show you why I believe it's true that we can adapt and adjust as we go, and what's fundamentally different about our clean energy plan than one we've ever delivered before. It starts over here. In the past, you know, post-World War II, electric demand was at a huge steep incline. Farms were being electrified. Factories were coming online. We were fueling this great economy of Michigan. And we needed to build plants as fast as humanly possible. And the reliable, affordable fuel that was available widely was coal. And it did its job. It created the economy that's been so prosperous here in Michigan. But the formula has changed now. Demand flat at best, and if we do our job, it might even decline. The per capita demand is definitely declining. So we support growth in Michigan and Michigan's prosperity, but the actual per capita usage can go down as buildings are more efficient, lighting's more efficient, HVAC's more efficient. We all know that. We're believers here in the room. So given that, we have the opportunity of a generation to determine with what will we replace these big central station baseload power plants. We will replace them with modular renewables because it's smarter. Let me show you why. If you don't have certainty in your demand curve, you don't want to take a big bet and overbuild a big power plant. And actually, without the increasing demand, that's just a cost that we would all bear. And so if we can modularly add renewables, and we can modularly add those renewables to match demand more timely. At the right time, we can add the supply we need 2 megawatts at a time. If we're going to build a gas plant, it's going to be 1,000 megawatts. That's the minimum, efficient size. And so that's the way we used to have to think about it. We don't have to think about it that way now. We can add these modular renewables and tackle energy waste. So our commitment is the replacement of those remaining 5 plants with only new renewables, 6,000 megawatts of solar. Now people ask me, do you live in Michigan, Pattie? The sun doesn't shine all the time. But hey, guess what? And this crowd knows, so I'm singing to the choir, I know that. The sun is shining on our hot summer days when electricity demand in Michigan doubles. Let me show you that. This is one of my favorite charts. And only my engineers and I love it. My PR team's like, please, would you stop showing the blue chart? Okay. But I think all of you are going to be able to hang with me on this one. I think you're going to love this chart too. So it starts January to December. This is our average load. The white bars are our average load on each of those days. And you can see the yellow line reflects about our average demand. So 4,200 megawatts is about our average demand. 75% of the time we use about 4,200 megawatts. We deliver and serve 4,200 megawatts at Consumers Energy. A couple hot days a year, July 19th being the most recent one, we'll peak up at about 7,000 megawatts. I'm actually watching that number. My hypothesis is that peak is dropping a little bit because of the work we've been doing with energy efficiency. But that peak is about 7,000 megawatts. That's demand, a couple days a year. Now those of you that have factories or businesses with warehouses, things like that, our actual supply availability on any given day, if we turned on all of our equipment, all our power plants, all our supply, we'd have about 8,300 megawatts of supply available. 8,300 megawatts to serve a peak of 7,000. That's required to some degree by MISO's reliability standards. So there's a reserve margin required, and so we're required to have available to supply to serve that peak. But any of you who run a factory or a warehouse know you would never size your factory and all your equipment and all your employees and the whole darn system to serve 2 days a year. That wouldn't happen in any other business. And technology, when we built those plants originally, that was the only way to do it. But technology is allowing us to do it differently now. This is our time. We have the opportunity to shave that peak in a way much more sophisticated than we've done in the past. Now, I'm a fan of our air conditioning program. We have air conditioning switches that today help us reduce demand. Industrial customers sign up for programs where we help with our demand response, and commercial customers sign up to reduce their load on particular days. But what's happening is you're turning off your air conditioner, you're turning off lights, you're turning off equipment to try and shave the peak, which helps, and it works. But in the future, I want you to imagine the power of wirelessly communicating thermostats and smart meters. Just 2 years ago, we were still marching around your backyards with handheld computers collecting data about how much energy you used in the last 30 days. And we got one number: how much you used in the last 30 days. We would have 36 million data points a year about your energy usage. Today, with smart meters, we have 270 million data points a day. We can now use that knowledge to find the peak users, partner with them with smart thermostats to not just turn down the thermostat. We did that January 30th, remember that one? We can talk about that another day. But I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about, people being uncomfortable in their homes, too hot, too cold. I'm saying let's optimize when you use your energy. For a home with good insulation, we can pre-cool it. Using a smart thermostat, you can run your air conditioning compressor at 11 a.m. when there's less load, it's lower temperatures outside, less demand on the whole system, so that when it comes to the peak hours, 4 to 7 p.m., we've got your house at the temperature you like it. We can have a customized energy plan for every address. That's now possible. It was never possible before. We didn't have the technology, and now we do. But here's where you come in. This is our current energy supply. This 2019 stack, you can see 11% renewable, 20% coal, which, by the way, puts us as one of the leaders in the nation. We've retired a significant amount of our coal. We're down to 20%, and you can see we're going to zero. But even at our 20% level, that makes us a leader in this nation of the transition. A lot of people have called us about how we do that. I'm going to digress for 1 minute about the retirement of our coal units and how the triple bottom line is manifested in how we think about that. When we retired our first 7 units, we made a commitment to the people who work there, who have dedicated their lives and their careers to delivering the energy that the people of Michigan need. They've done that faithfully for decades, many of them. To the communities where those plants are, that an important tax base that funds education. There's some companies who would leave a hulking remnant of what used to be. We're not that kind of company. So we've actually partnered with a development firm who specializes in decommissioning power plants and redeveloping those sites. We did a national search to find the right partner so that those locations in Muskegon and Luna Pier can redevelop for new economic opportunity, new prosperity for those local communities. I got a note from the Luna Pier mayor thanking me for keeping our promise, that we wouldn't abandon them in this transition. I don't ever want to forget that transition matters to people. I was at our Karn plant on Wednesday night of last week, second shift in the control room with our power plant operators. Their lives are being affected by this change. Please don't forget that. Now, I talk to them about what are their plans. We're giving them advance notice. I can't rush that. They need time to get new skills. They need time to prepare their families. So come with us as we make that transition, as we prepare these communities and my coworkers for that change. Natural gas is a bigger part of our supply today than it will be in the future. We've got some nuclear today in the Palisades nuclear plant. Entergy owns that plant. We take the full supply. Entergy has plans to retire that plant, and we've actually backfilled all of the supply at Entergy's Palisades plant with energy efficiency. It's the first example of how energy efficiency can actually prevent building new plants. That happened already. That goes away without having to build a new power plant because of our energy efficiency programs. And then you can see energy storage, our Ludington pump storage facility. Now you will get me started. I just started myself. Ludington pump storage is the great engineering marvel, one of the great engineering marvels of the world. It is the 4th largest battery in the world. It has 6 units. I don't know how familiar you are or if you've ever visited, but you should because it's gorgeous. It's the most gorgeous power plant in the world. On the banks of Lake Michigan, pumps water up into a 27 billion gallon reservoir, and we have the 6 largest motors in the world. Each unit has a 500,000 horsepower motor. In and of itself, the largest power of the oopsie, what'd I do? Can somebody save me there?
Mike's on his way.
Thank you, Mike. Sorry. I get talking about Ludington and things go crazy. Here, am I close? Oh, there. You did that. Thank you. I thought I was doing it. He was doing it the whole time. Good job, Mike. That's right. So Ludington, those 6 largest motors in the world, pump the water up. They power the pumps that take the water up into the reservoir. And then when we need the power, those motors rotating in reverse generate electricity. 2,200 megawatts of carbon-free, emission-free, clean, pure Michigan power. And it is good. And we put that water back cleaner than we found it. It's an extraordinary, I think about the people who designed and built that in the 1960s and how brave and ambitious they were. And if they only could imagine the role that it serves today. And I have a point of view about its role in the future. Today, we fill the reservoir once a day. But when we have fully deployed those 5 and then 6,000 megawatts of solar, we'll have excess power in the day. California is dealing with this. They call it the duck curve, and they're concerned about what do you do with extra power in the daytime. Guess what we're going to do with it? We're going to pump and fill the reservoir at Ludington. And then we're going to use that reservoir to serve the peak load. And then at night, our wind farms will generating extra electricity. We'll also then refill the pond, and we're going to get to refill that pond twice a day because of the upgrade we've done on those motors. That is exciting. That doubles the capacity of that battery for the service of people of Michigan and the inclusion then in our clean energy plan, which allows us to go to 42% renewables. We'll be at 10% coal by 2030, 14% natural gas. You can see a big reduction there. The 8% Ludington. And then we'll have a little bit of peaking units with oil and natural gas left at Karn. And then here's the thing I want to draw your attention to. This little blue section, this is where you come in. This is the movement. This is the call to act. That little blue bar, so, cute up there on the slide. That's 2 power plants, my friends. And I need you to help me not build them. This is not a theoretical call to act. This is not a PR stunt. This is a call to act to protect our planet for generations to come. By coming together, using those smart thermostats, making our home envelopes secure, having good lighting control systems and lighting utilization, and eliminate the energy waste that exists in our system today. That's all energy waste. The distance between the yellow and the red bar and then our supply. We can eliminate that energy waste, but you know what? This 2019 plan, I could kind of do without you. Some of you participated in the energy efficiency programs. I bet a lot of you did. And so we did that part without a big bunch of fanfare. We're the power company. We'll make the power. Our future, I need you. We can't deliver this clean energy plan without the people of Michigan actually fundamentally changing and eliminating the energy waste that we take for granted today. And by 2040, we'll prevent 3 new power plants. Are you with me? Yeah, this crowd. That's what we need. You know, because someday, I'm going to be in my garden with my sweet granddaughter, who, by the way, my girls aren't dating anyone, and so they get very annoyed when I tell this story. Like, Mom, come on. Someday, I'm going to have a granddaughter, and I'm going to be in my garden long after people forgot who Pattie Poppe ever was. And she's going to look at me, and she's going to ask me, Grandma, what is climate change? And I'm going to tell her, because of the great people of Michigan, and the work that Consumers Energy did with them, it is something that we used to worry about. That is possible for us. That is necessary for us. This is our challenge of this generation. Every generation has one, and this is ours. Climate change is happening, and we must do our part. And we are trying to provide a path for Michigan's clean energy future that we can all play a role, and I'm counting on you to help us do that. Thank you very much. Now, some of you met our teacher or our t-shirt team. They're here. We've got our team in force to help you sign up for the movement. If you just simply go and sign up on mycleanenergyplan.com, we'll plant a tree in your honor. You'll get a t-shirt here today, so that's a special added bonus, today only. And so we can together make this happen. You'll learn more specific actions you can take. You can point your friends, your social media feed, your friends and families and neighbors to go to this clean energy plan and join this movement. It is that. It is a movement. It is there are actions that we can take, that you can take. This is where you're going to learn more about what those actions are. And we're just getting started, and I can't tell you how excited the whole team is. Now with that, I'd love to open up the floor for some conversation and some Q&A and hear what's on your mind. Who'd like to go first?
I'll go first.
Yes, sir.
I'm known to go first.
Here's a microphone for you, sir.
Okay. You going to hold it?
I'm going to hold it.
Okay. My name is Bob Stegmeyer. I live in Rockford. I've been environmentally and conservation minded for a heck of a long time. I'm 90 years old.
Wow.
Anyway, I congratulate Consumers Power by stepping up, and it sounds like you're really stepping up. A couple points that I'm on a program with Consumers, your ERP program.
Oh, okay.
I joined back in 2009.
That's our solar panel program at your home.
And that, net meter. Well, anyway, we're losing net metering, apparently. We shouldn't lose it. And we ought to be billing time of day energy. Therefore, everybody's got a house with a roof, not everybody, but 25, 30% of them could put solar panels on the roof. Many of them could put them on the ground. I'm a member of the Michigan Solar Users Network of West Michigan, and there's only 4 of us. My system only, there are 4 of them.
Small but mighty group. We're proud of you.
But we're growing.
Yes.
75% of our group now, there you go. Figures lying.
I have a job on my marketing team for you, Ed.
Produce all of their electricity.
Yeah.
And
So-
that meter. I'm only 34%, but
Okay.
back in '06 it was expensive.
So I'd love to talk about that. I get asked
Okay,
about
go ahead.
this a lot. Is that okay? Can I go?
Yes,
All right.
please do.
So I get asked a lot, should I be putting solar panels on my roof? That's the question. And here's my answer. Not now. What I need you to do and what I need you to spend your time on is reducing that peak. Let's go back. I'm a little nervous about my use of this clicker, but let's see how I do. Look, we've got power plants. And in fact, we're retiring and we're going to do utility scale solar, which is rooftop solar is 3 times more expensive. Now, I'm not opposed to it, and I don't object. If you really want to make that capital outlay and put a power plant on your roof, we're going to help you do that. But it's not.
I had to step up when the stepping was required.
Yes, you did. You stepped up when the stepping was required, and I agree with you. And we've learned a lot since that time. And so now what we've learned is the cost curve for solar has dropped dramatically, and it's dropping every year. So part of our clean energy plan, which I'm excited about, and why I believe we had such a wide spectrum of people sign on to our clean energy plan, from the Sierra Club and NRDC to our largest business customers, all signed on because we're committing to both clean energy and affordable energy. We can have both. And so at utility scale, 3 times cost savings, we're going to do an annual auction. We're not even demanding that we build it all. I'm not trying to maintain or protect my flank or something crazy here. We want the lowest cost, cleanest energy to serve the people of Michigan. And so we're doing an annual auction, and we will decide the best locations and the lowest cost solar to add. I can tell you, rooftop solar, the price does not compete. And so what the most important thing for you to do at your home, whether it's an apartment or a home or you have a south-facing roof or not, every one of us can shave this peak. That's the most important thing for all of us to do. It is the determining factor on whether we will build new fossil fuel power plants or not. And so that's where I need your help. I need our energy and help reshape that conversation that it's just not now, that's not the best solution to fix this opportunity. And we can work together to fix this opportunity in a way that's lower cost for you and will save you money and prevent building those new power plants. That's a very important conversation for a group like this to have. Thank you for your question. Okay, someone else here? Okay.
Thank you. Hi, Pattie.
Hi.
My name is Guillermo Cisneros. I am the Executive Director of the West Michigan Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank you for the incredible presentation. I'm a firm believer that we need to act today.
We need to act.
In order to save our
Yes.
planet for the next generation. So I don't know if you are aware of the demographics in West Michigan. 17% of the population in Grand Rapids are Latinos. And by 2020, 68% of the growth is going to come from the Latino community.
Awesome.
So you have a population that is changing very quick in West Michigan. And my question for you is, what is your plan to reach out to our community? A high percentage of our community doesn't speak English, or it's very hard for them to engage with programs. If they see everything in English. What is your plan to reach out to this particular community?
I think that is a great question that we need to work on. And I look forward to working with you to make sure that we are able to do that. Because again, we need to help everyone. And in fact, quite often, the most disadvantaged customers are the ones who are left out of this transition. And because of the way we're approaching it, with this focus on using energy smarter, the smarter energy usage, the elimination of energy waste can be most beneficial to a new and lower income population who needs a helping hand. We don't want people putting all their hard-earned dollars and cents into their energy bills, whether they're a family or a growing business or a thriving business like your own. We want your dollars to go into growing your business, into growing your family, and creating the economic stability required to have and experience and participate in the prosperity that is possible here in Michigan. So I welcome the opportunity. Our team would be very excited. We've got some interesting projects we're working on to grow businesses here in West Michigan, particularly minority-owned businesses. But your point about serving families in a diverse community, and your point about language is probably a blind spot for us that we really need to make sure is well articulated and very accessible to the people in West Michigan. Thank you very much for that heads up. Okay, a question over here. We got to get some folks in the back. Yeah.
So I'm Allison Sutter.
Hello,
I'm with the City
Allison.
of Grand Rapids. Thank you,
Thank
Pattie,
you.
for being here, and your team as well. Great partnership with the city. And just wanted to follow up on the point here to say the city would love to partner with you both as well to continue working on that, because I truly believe that working on energy efficiency is a key way to start talking about affordable housing and helping to address the affordable housing that's happening in our community. So I really welcome the partnership there, and just wanted to make that point. But wanted to ask a question about your thoughts and sharing some things around electrification and where that might be going. I've had some initial conversations, and I think originally the limited knowledge I have is it can be expensive in the transition for maybe a home or a business up front, making it a little bit more difficult to be thinking about that, particularly in our cold weather climate.
So the concept of electrification, I will tell you one area where it isn't more expensive and it isn't more difficult is in transportation. So I'm going to use this as an opportunity to talk about EVs and our enthusiasm for it. You know, when we look at that load chart of mine with the white bars, as long as we add electric vehicle charging anytime other than peak, what we're doing is more fully utilizing our entire infrastructure. In essence, in other words, when you do the math, that means the cost of energy per unit goes down. So adding EVs lowers the cost of electricity. That's how the math works, as long as those EVs are charging off-peak. And so we're working very closely with automakers to make sure we have smart charging, that we have the ability to, in the part of this grid of the future, orchestrate when and how vehicles charge, and then imagine those vehicles providing two-way flow. And for the first time ever, I've heard one of our U.S. automakers acknowledge that their battery technology is robust enough that they're willing to consider two-way flow, where before they were worried about duty cycles on batteries and not being interested in two-way flow. They are now, because they've done such a great job in this R&D on battery storage. So imagine this grid of the future, where today it looks a lot like 127 heading up to Mackinac City. Anyone been on 127? Right? The speed limit's faster, that's nice. But it's like our big central station power plants, putting power on that transmission system, couple off ramps to the high voltage system, down to the distribution system to our local communities. That's how the grid today looks. It's very one way. This future with electric vehicles, distributed solar all over the state of Michigan, storage associated with those renewable energies, as well as both for voltage control and dispatchability, creates a much more dynamic two-way flowing grid of the future. Our team is going to have to be a lot better at orchestrating how and when and where those electrons flow. So I think that's a first challenge. Last year, 2018, for the first time ever, there were more carbon emissions from transportation than from power generation in America. If we want to do our part, the next big Pareto on the chart is transportation. We've got to convert it to electric, and the automakers want to, as do big fleet drivers. I'm going to tell you just two quick stories. Number one, General Motors was at an Edison Electric Institute, the utility CEO's meeting, and their head of battery strategies and electric vehicle strategies said, look, we mean it this time. We really mean it. And here's what's changed. China has mandated electric vehicles. The most expensive part of a vehicle is the development of it. To develop it for China, their largest market, you can bet your bottom dollar the automakers are going to want to sell those cars in the United States. They mean it. They have to develop them for China. They're going to be available here. And I don't think they've been shy. It's just slow. Vehicle development takes time, but they're coming. They're in the pipeline. They are coming. And I think that's exciting. I think Michigan plays a very important role. I'll tell you another quick story. I was in Seattle, Washington last Monday with the top brass of Amazon. And they invited me to Seattle representing the electric utilities to talk about electrifying all of their vehicle fleets. Every vehicle that delivers products for Amazon, they want to be electric. Now these guys are a little crazy-eyed. And when they say it, they mean it. They looked across the table, they're like, Patty, you gotta think big. I'm thinking, okay, all right, I'm thinking big. I said, I'm the biggest landowner in Michigan. They're like, no, bigger than that, you know, like. And so these semi-trucks, one semi-truck, these were Tesla's numbers. One semi-truck for 400-mile range, 30 minutes of charge is 1 megawatt of electric load for 30 minutes. Now, what's our grid going to look like in that future? But imagine if they're all parked at a particular time, then that's a resource that can be utilized if they're parked at the right time. Maybe that changes how they deliver vehicles. But that strategy for electrification, I believe, is first. I do think fleets will be first because of the economics of that, followed by residential because of this China deal. And then we can start talking about the rest of our appliances and heating in particular in Michigan. You know, that transition is possible in the future, but that Pareto chart's pretty darn clear. Power generation, we're on it. Transportation, we need to get on it. Again, something we can all do together. Well, there's a question back here, yeah.
Patty, thanks for again coming out here to speak to us. I have one question on deregulation. So Michigan is one of 2 states that's only partially deregulated. As you know, we have a 10% cap on deregulation. Basically a twofold question. One is, do you think we should move back to full regulation? Do you think we should move forward to complete deregulation? Or do you think we should stay where we're at? And why do you think we should move in any of those directions?
It's a great question. You know, I'm a free market capitalist, and I believe in full regulation for the electric industry, and here's why. So that you just note that that's a seems to be in conflict. But here's how when I joined the electric industry, so my first 15 years of my career were at General Motors. I grew up in a very competitive automotive environment. It's dog eat dog, and that competition made us better. I buy it. It works in certain industries. I believe that regulation in Michigan is important, and in the United States, in the electric industry, because we provide a vital good that we expect all people to have access. We expect it to be affordable. And people sometimes accuse me of having, you know, profit, free profits, you know, you get to earn whatever you want. That's not true. Our team works every single day to save cost and shave cost out of our delivery of our system because we know that's good business. That's a triple bottom line. We're not taking advantage of the people of Michigan. And so to have the kind of infrastructure that we need reliably and to make this transition in particular, I think we would run the risk of sub-optimizing the system. It's more important than ever that a utility be able to be this system orchestrator of this two-way flow in this new energy future. It's so important that we can see it all. Now, we passed a law in 2016, and I signed it and I agreed with it, that preserved that 10%. So for the record, and my lawyers would want me to say this out loud, we support the 10% cap here in Michigan, and we support the law as written. What I will tell you as a leader and a capitalist, I think it's very important that we have regulated energy delivery for the people of Michigan so that we can optimize and maximize the benefit of this future for everybody. Thank you for your question.
Hi, Patty.
Hi.
I'm Jan O'Connell with the Sierra Club.
Hi, Jan.
Welcome to Grand Rapids.
Thank you.
And you mentioned Sierra Club, so I had to make some statement here. Yes, we are in total support of your clean energy.
Thank you.
5 gigawatts of solar is fabulous.
Thank you.
But as you know, we would like to see Consumers Campbell plant closed earlier. 2040 is too long, and as we all know, there are major issues with coal-fired power plants, including water, air, and we just need to make that our commitment to close units 1 and 2 at least by 2023, and unit 3 by 2030 versus 2040. And here in Grand Rapids, we like clean air and clean water, and we just want to see your solar energy get peaked up faster and move in that direction.
So we, like the Sierra Club, and I know many of you are members here in this room, are passionate, obviously, about the environment. I think we've made that abundantly clear here today. I'm passionate about clean water. Here's what is important about this plan. We're trying to avoid building 2 more plants. If we go faster, we run the risk of having to not replace them with demand response and energy efficiency, which is 20% of the plan, which my marketing team is telling me is going to be very hard to do because we don't actually sell products today. So to get 20% of our supply from demand response and energy efficiency prevents building 2 fossil fuel power plants. I stand by our plan and the timing of it so that we can actually achieve a sustainable, coal-free, clean energy future. And if we could go faster, we would. But as I've described, there's an impact on our ability here to prevent building other power plants. A natural gas-fueled power plant would be the only option at the pace that would be required if we don't do the demand response and energy efficiency. And it's going to take us this period of time to get that much. So it's a challenge. We think that we can definitely protect the environment at the Campbell site. We've invested billions of dollars in environmental control equipment. We are replacing our ash ponds. We replaced them a year ago with concrete containment. We are very passionate about protecting the water and the air, and because of the power that we produce. And this plan is the plan I hope you can feel great about too, because it gets us there 10 years faster than anybody else. Michigan will be 10 years ahead of the Paris Climate Accord, of the scientific community's recommended pace of change. We're a decade early with this plan, and I feel good about it. And I do feel good about our partnership with the Sierra Club to passionately protect our natural resources here in Michigan.
We may want to look into Bob's plan here of rooftop solar, because that could help us get us there quicker.
Yeah, I think our solar plan at 6,000 megawatts of solar, we have 1,100 of those megawatts of solar will be in the next 3 years. We're not going slow on solar, and it's a lot of household rooftops to top 1,100 megawatts of utility scale solar. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'd like to close with a quick little video. If you can run the tape. Thank you so much. Do you want to do a little energy dance with me?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. We do a little energy dance. Show me what energy looks like. Little energy dance.
Can I talk on the microphone like this? Hello?
All right, good job, guys. Woo! Do you guys have any favorite cartoons?
Yeah.
What are they?
Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Oh, Scooby-Dooby-Doo, I love him. What do you watch it on?
My TV.
What gives the TV its power?
Electricity. Electricity. Electricity.
Awesome.
Sun.
Yes, that's where electricity comes from. Do you have any idea what that is?
That's wind wiper.
Oh, a wind wiper.
A wind chuck.
A wind chuck. And when one of those spins, it makes electricity.
Okay.
Where does electricity come from?
Treadmill.
And how about that? What's that thing?
A treadmill.
Can you make it go? Oh, that's good. It uses wind. That's right. What do you have there?
This?
Yeah, what is that?
Dancing flower.
Yeah, where's it get its energy?
Tricked.
Yeah, look, it actually gets it from the sun and from light right there, that little panel. Look, it actually gets it from the sun. Right there, that little panel. Yeah, look at that. It'll dance more. Here, let's do it together. You help me. What's that?
This,
Yeah,
a lemon,
a lemon. What's this?
a tree.
Yeah, what would happen if we planted that tree? It would grow. Yeah, which direction would it grow? Would it grow this way or that way?
This way.
What do trees need to be healthy?
Water and sun
Sun.
and soil.
Oh, good. Do we need those things too?
Yeah, but we don't need soil.
And what do we do with, what could we do with that tree, Ava?
We could plant it and then it would take bad air to give us good air.
Yes, good girl. So let's plant more trees, huh?
Mm-hmm. A society grows great when people plant trees whose shade they shall never know. Consumers' energy count on us.
That was awesome.